Namaste, my fellow rivals. Holy Materia here, back with another Marvel Rivals video. Today we're going to be doing the Cloak and Dagger guide, but before we get into it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Alright, let's get right into it. Okay guys, so let's go into the full guide for Cloak and Dagger. I've been loving playing them, and I got a lot of information for you guys because I've been playing them wrong until very recently. So let's get right into the guide, because there's so many things that the game doesn't tell you, like in the descriptions of the moves and everything like that. So let's go over each of the moves, because there's a lot of stuff that the explanations don't tell you in the game, even like the ability settings on the characters. So let's start with Dagger, because you're going to be playing as Dagger more often than not. Her primary fire is called Light Force Dagger. It says unleash a bouncing Light Force Dagger to damage enemies and heal nearby allies. So now what it doesn't tell you is that you are one of those nearby allies. So you can see here that when you heal the one person, it also does some AoE healing to the person that's close to them. You can see this like light ring here, so anybody who's within there gets healed, and also that includes you. So if you take some damage and you are healing your ally, you also get healed by this every time you're healing your teammates. So it's crucial if you have like a tank who's like really playing tank, like on the front lines, and you just kind of stay close to them, like within this range, you're healing yourself at the same time as you're healing your allies. And then not only do you get healed, do you get self-healed when you heal your allies, but you also get self-healed when you do damage to enemies. There's also a ring around the enemies, and you heal yourself and your allies. So not only is this crucial for healing yourself, but if you're in a situation where your teammates are not taking that much damage, and especially if you have this the light wall over them, you can just shoot the enemies that are close to them. Like say the two tanks are going at it, like your tank and the other team's tank are hitting each other. You can help by doing damage to their tank and also healing your tank by a little bit. You can just look at it and see like when you need to start switching to just actually healing your tank or healing whoever you're fighting with. But yeah, this helps with so much survivability. Somebody's trying to dive you, like a Spider-Man or a Psylocke or the bane of everybody's existence, Iron Fist. You can use this. Like usually I switch to Cloak, and I will do this wall and then do that. But you can also survive by being Dagger and just getting self heals like while they're attacking you. Like 1v1, you just basically out heal like just a little bit of damage at a time. Just like not anything crazy, but you could survive so much just by hitting them like this. All right, also you can bounce these off of walls to heal your teammates. You can get like good angles where you are not vulnerable, but you can still heal your team. I wouldn't recommend doing something like this in general, but like in situations where you're like coming back from dying and you like can't actually see your teammates yet, you can still like throw some of these off the walls and get some heals before you get like actually back into the fight. And these daggers auto aim, so you can see like you don't have to be right on them, and then even when somebody's moving, like it'll auto aim to them. So these daggers are great for flying characters, especially the slow ones like Iron Man or Storm, or just like taking somebody out who's trying to flee, because they most likely won't be able to get away from it. Okay, and then the next move, the Veil of Light Force, gives increased healing to whoever is within that Veil of Light Force. So this works with your healing and also like self-healing or your allies healing as well. So you want to put this out, especially when you're like in a big team fight. Even just like put it out like as soon as you guys are about to engage, because the cooldown is not that long, and by the time like they need it again, it will usually be up. And the next one is the Dagger Storm. So this one launches a volley of daggers, creating a healing over time field in an impact area. This you can aim it and like throw it out far, so just be careful, because sometimes you might just throw this like all the way, like sometimes it just like goes all the way to the next wall or something. But this does all kinds of healing over time, and you want to generally use this to protect yourself though, not so much on your teammates. But it's something that I like to do is when I start getting hurt and I see that this is not doing enough, like healing my allies is not doing enough to get me back up, then I'll try to put this on myself and the tank. It's like that's in an ideal situation, but if it really comes down to it, you just put it on yourself to make sure you stay up, because it's important for you to stay alive. Okay, so then her last ability is to switch to Cloak, which is called Shadow's Embrace. And so most of the time you want to be playing as Dagger because you're a healer first and foremost. And so you want to be playing as Dagger, making sure your teammates are safe, and then switch to Cloak, and then you can do his first move, which is the Terror Cape. So this one, it says deploy a veil of darkness to damage enemies upon touch, applying blind to narrow their sight, and vulnerability to amplify damage received. So this makes them take more damage, and it blinds them. But the thing is like, Cloak needs to be up close in their field of vision. Like, they can still see you if you're close to them. Like if you're like up here, which is where you would usually be when you're fighting somebody with Cloak, they can still see you. So don't think that you're invisible just because you use that blind. Like, they might not be able to see these guys over here, but they can see you if you're like right up on them. So just keep that in mind so that you don't get killed thinking like, oh, they can't see me, I'm just over here safe, because you're not actually safe. But they take all kinds of damage when you do that though. And then Cloak's other ability is the Dark Teleportation. So this says enshroud nearby allies in the Dark Force dimension and grant them phase, making them untargetable and invisible to enemies, and granting them a movement boost. So this is nice. This move can save teammates from all kinds of ults, like any ult really, as long as your teammates know not to move they can move but don't do any attacks or abilities. Like, you can't shoot and you can't do any abilities, or else you get taken right out of the Cloak. Now watch this. Like, the guy on the left, he's still in there, but the guy on the right, since he's shooting, he gets immediately taken out of it because he didn't move. So like, there's been so many times where I've survived ults and I'm like, how are my teammates dead? It took me a long time to realize what was going on. But as soon as your teammates do any kind of move, they will take themselves out of that Cloak, or out of the invincibility. Another thing I like to do with this, because it does grant a movement buff, and it only has like a 12-second cooldown, is that I like to, if we're in a match where like we need to get to a location quickly, like at the beginning of the match, like any of the ones when you're just contesting the points and you want to get to the point faster, I always enshroud my teammates in there so that they get that little boost at the very beginning. It's a couple of seconds, but hey, every second counts in these games, man, especially with the way cooldowns work, and just being at the point before your team is a good little boost. And by the time you get there, you'll definitely have this back, and you'll most certainly have it back by the time you need it, because you don't usually need this very often. What you usually want to use this for is saving your teammates from ults. Like, it can save people from Iron Man's ult or Wanda, like Scarlet Witch's ult, but also it gives you a movement boost, but it's mainly for vertical movement. So you can use this to like reposition yourself, or even to get into a position to start attacking people if you want. Like, you can use it to get behind somebody and then throw the veil of darkness, and then you can just mess with them. But I wouldn't recommend doing that very often, because then you don't have any way to escape. So what I do if somebody's trying to dive me, like Iron Fist or Spider-Man or something, I'll put this down, then switch to Cloak, put the Terror Cape down, and then usually I'll either kill them or at least like make them just give up on trying to get at me, because they can't. It takes them so long. Like, you're gonna win most of those fights, or at least like get them to retreat. And then always make sure like that you're pinging people when they get into your back line and they're trying to harass you. Like, I see a lot of guides where they're like, yeah, do this and do that, and most of these people are playing with like 6 people on their team, and they are all communicating on mic. So the way they play is a little bit different than the way the majority of us play. So I'm always pinging people if somebody dives me, or and this is really important, because most people don't understand how Cloak and Dagger's ult works. So let's talk about that now. So whenever I'm about to do my ult, I always let my teammates know, like, my ult is charged. So and then I'll do it so that they know that we can push. They know that they'll be safe if they're up in there. So if I'm on like a point, I used to put like a triangle, but I realized recently that these stack. So yeah, if you just stack them on top of each other, it's like impossible for you to get killed. You stand on top of it and switch to Cloak, put down that Terror Cape, and then you can just mess up the whole team because everybody's going to be shooting at you, but they can't do anything. I just wish there was a better indicator like when it was over, because sometimes I end up dying because I'm like it's just standing on there and thinking that I'm still gonna heal, but then the healing stops. But like you do that and you put the orb down, the healing orb from Dagger, and then you turn into Cloak. Like you're just safe. Like there's nothing that anybody can do to hurt you. Like you can survive Punisher ults and all kinds of stuff. You're gonna survive Star-Lord's ult, Legendary, all that stuff. The thing is like a lot of times your teammates might not realize like what that is. So when I'm doing it, I also like will ping the area, even though it says like caution this area. Right? I'll just ping it. I'll just like keep pinging it to say like, come here, man, come on, come get on the point. And then so that everybody will get up on there and we get the most out of this that we can. Like if you're playing with a group of people, you can just let them know like, yeah, you stand in there, you'll be safe. Don't worry about it. But when you're playing with solo and you're playing with randoms, sometimes it's hard for them to understand like what's going on or what you're doing, because right now the game is so new. I feel like most people don't really know what other people do outside of the characters that they play. Like they might know basically like, oh, this guy can switch between Cloak and Dagger and heal and do damage, but they don't know exactly like how things work. So, and like that's for everybody pretty much that's playing. Like they don't like that's why it's good to watch guides or look at guides for players that besides just the person that you use. So yeah, anybody who's here who's not a Cloak and Dagger main or who doesn't even want to play them, yeah, that's a good look to understand like how your teammates work, so that you can get the most out of everything that they do. So yeah, but most of the time you want to be Cloak, or most of the time you want to be Dagger, because she is the healer and you are a strategist at the end of the day. So when you get into a fight, you want to put your light veil down first and then heal your teammates up. If you start taking damage, then you can put the wall down and then switch to Cloak, do a little bit of damage, and then switch back to Dagger so that you can keep your teammates healed up. And then like stay close to your teammates so you're within that range. You want to try to, if you can. Like ideally, you want to be up in that so you're getting heals too. And you can see the cooldowns of the other person on the top. So like when I switch back, you can see like 11 seconds above my ult that's how much time I need until my terror cape is back. And you want to pretty much throw out, like, unless your teammates are like on the verge of death, you want to kind of switch and throw out the terror cape like as much as you can, and then switch back to Dagger. See, like even just then my teammate died though, so you got to be careful switching the Cloak. Like if you don't have another healer on your team, it's kind of hard sometimes to switch to Cloak. But if you do, then it's not that big a deal. And then also you just throw that out and then switch back to Dagger and keep healing, because she can heal so much, especially with the light veil, that she can get people back up. And if you need to, you can throw down the orb too. And then you get your ult. The ult does damage also, but it's more for healing. Like it does a lot more healing than it does damage. But you can get kills just by putting the ult on people, but it's more important for healing. Like you are a strategist at the end of the day. And also Cloak and Dagger both auto aim, so you can see like he's still getting damage even if you're not completely on. But I don't think that Cloak's is as crazy as Scarlet Witch though. So you still want to try to like stay on target as much as you can. And then they have a team up with Moon Knight right now. It's their only team up. And I don't know if people are starting to realize this, but because like at first glance it looks like only Moon Knight gets something, but you get the passive 15% healing boost, and that's crucial, especially when you stack it with the like 15% healing boost that you get with the light veil, or the veil of light force. So yeah, having a Moon Knight on your team is really important. And he's pretty easy to play. Most people can get him, so it's not such a bad idea to request a Moon Knight if you already have like a good team count. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So you want to be healing your team, putting that veil down, switching, putting the terror cape, and then if you ever do get in trouble, you can escape with this move. But yeah, this move has like a lot of vertical height. Like you can get pretty much anywhere. You can even use this to chase people down if you want, but it's better as an escape tool and as a way to help your teammates get out of stuff. And this doesn't really have much to do with the gameplay, but you can also see like your accuracy of your veil of light accuracy and your terror cape accuracy, so like how many you hit. So it's a cool little stat that you can see down there, and then it shows how much healing you get from the Eternal Bond. But yeah, guys, Cloak and Dagger can output all kinds of healing. They can do all kinds of damage and get so many kills. They're such a versatile character. or characters, I guess, because 2 for the price of 1, even though you want to be playing as Dagger way more often than you are Cloak. But yeah, just like being able to switch between them and having all those things, like once you like learn like when to switch, what kind of situations to switch in, throwing this Cloak out, and then knowing like even you can switch back to Dagger and you still get like a lot more damage with daggers. So yeah, man, like they're easy to play because they do a lot and they do a lot well. But the thing that makes them like a 3-star difficulty is like the awareness that you have to have for when to switch and like when to be Dagger, when to be Cloak, and like what situations do what in. But yeah, man, they're a great hero. I love playing as them. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the Cloak and Dagger guide. Let me know if there's anything I missed. Let people know down in the comments. Let me know what other videos you guys would like to see. I'm gonna be making some more Marvel Rivals content for sure. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Everybody stay safe out there. Peace and love.